Hi, and welcome to Best in Tesla News, episode 135. As you can see, I am not at the office, I am at Fully Charged live show. So I hope to see some of you guys. I have already met some of you guys out there, so that's pretty cool. But we are still, of course, have a lot of great news during this week. So I have still sat down and made a news show for you. So let's check it all out and let's dive right in.
Let's put our living stereo stylus in this groove.
We might have a lot of catalysts coming to put some upward pressure on the Tesla stock price.
Last week we talked about Tesla's rating or lack thereof by Moody's, but Alexandra Mess did write to Moody's, as she is also a former employee at Moody's, and asked why Tesla is still junk rating, when their scores are some of the best on the list, but still rated as junk. So what Moody's wants and S&P Ratings wants is that Tesla need more models, as so many people are talking about. If you follow my channel, you might have seen my video about the product range architecture. If you haven't, you really should check that one out. It is a really good movie, and it does explain why people that think Tesla need 30 different models would probably be wrong and don't understand what product range architecture is, or the ladder of success, or what saved Apple back in 1997. And it looks like Moody's don't understand that either, because as we have talked about before, Tesla is actually killing it on the metrics that are actually used in the rating system, but is still rated junk, which makes no sense, and the only explanation we get from Moody is that they need more models. But don't worry, if you care about the short-term stock price, I really don't, but some really do. But already next year, Tesla will increase their range of models by 50%, so that should force Moody's to raise their Tesla ratings, because it is apparently the only reason that Tesla's rating is down. So when Tesla increase that matrix by 50%, Moody's are forced to up their rating, and that should really put some upward pressure on the stock. Alexandra also replied to the letter from Moody's in an open letter and really roasted Moody, but in a very elegant way, showing to the world that their rating of Tesla makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. And as she writes in the headlines, Moody's, the world is watching. Indeed, watching and laughing. But eventually, they have to give Tesla a better rating and put some upward pressure on the Tesla stock. I will leave a link to Alexandra's letter down below, definitely worth a read. And combined with the simple fact that the semi-truck will be there on the street in the hands of customers next year, the truck that Daimler said was impossible, because they cannot build an electric car with that kind of specs, with range and charging speed and so on. They don't believe Tesla can either. Like Daimler's CEO said back in 2019. They're fun. It's an interesting market. We take every competitor seriously. Tesla has proven they really have the tendency to really go through huge losses to capture the market. But trucking is a difficult business. They will learn the hard way. Trucking is not like passenger cars where one size fits all. There's a lot of variety in the trucking. In the United States, it's a highly competitive market. So as I said, they're fun. Yes, it is a very competitive, but Tesla is coming out with something no one else has, because no one comes even close to the specs of the Tesla semi-truck. The competition is only high in the ICE truck market, but that is what Tesla's semi-truck will disrupt and save trucking companies about $200,000 a year on one semi-truck. It will no longer make financial sense to buy anything else but a semi-truck when they come out. So again, the only thing holding Tesla back would be how fast they can produce this truck to meet the unprecedented demand that will be for it. When they show the whole world that this truck is just as real as everything else Tesla has made. It feels a little bit like a déjà vu from back in the days when Tesla was learning the hard way what it will mean to produce cars. It ain't easy.
I think Elon Musk and the guys are are learning what it means to put automobiles into production. It ain't easy.
No, it ain't easy, but Tesla did it, and is now the world's most efficient car manufacturer, and their Model Y is on its way to become the world's most sold car. And we will no doubt see the same happen for Tesla's semi-truck, and this truck will have no competition, because no one has anything that comes close, as I have made a couple of videos about. The others have semi-trucks with less than half the range, but it takes like 8 times longer to fill up that half range compared to a Tesla semi-truck. And we have just seen the videos about a couple of Tesla semi-trucks driving around, so we should be getting really close for this truck to go into production to disrupt the whole trucking industry. Can't wait to hear what Daimler CEO has to say about the Tesla semi-truck when it's rolling down the street in the US. And see what Moody's and S&P rating will do when the Tesla semi-truck will be part of the 50% increase in the models available from Tesla. Goldman Sachs does have a buy rating now on Tesla after a meeting with Tesla's head of investor relations, and some of the reason they see a big uptake on Tesla is because they have fewer but bigger factories that sometimes cost less to build than to refurbish old OEMs' plans, and few models. Oh yes, sounds like someone here is finally getting it. I know many are worried about Tesla's rating and the stock price because of this and so on, but I'm not really worried. We have never in history seen a disruptor not getting its fair valuation, but it's usually with a bit of a lag time, because all the industries that have been disrupted are trying all they can to stop the disruptor, but they all fail. You can't hold back evolution. So I only see this as a great chance for us long-term investors to get hold of more stocks for as cheap a price as possible.
And even though rating agencies and Wall Street wants Tesla to make more models, well, we do see the power of a good product range architecture, as Tesla's models continues to climb the ladder to become the world's best-selling cars.
The Tesla Model 3 became the 4th best-selling car in Australia in August, surpassing Toyota Camry and Toyota Corolla, the one that is holding the top spot of the world's most sold car. But it is noteworthy that the top 3 sales are 2 pickup trucks and 1 SUV. This means the Tesla Model 3 has become Australia's best-selling medium passenger car. The Model 3 beats the super popular in Australia Toyota Camry, which took 2nd place. Overall figures for the year shows that Tesla Model 3 is in a strong fight and has a chance to overtaking the Camry in sales in 2022. In the 8th month of the year so far, Toyota sold 7,410 Camrys, while Model 3 sales totaled to 7,037 units. In addition, the Model 3 is the only electric vehicle in the top 10. But the competition, yes, is nowhere to be seen. And in the overall standing of medium passenger SUV, Model Y took 6th place. However, in the premium segment, where cars cost more than 60,000 Australian dollars, Model Y took the 1st place. With the strong sales of only 2 models, Tesla entered the top 10 best-selling car brands in Australia for the first time ever. Tesla took 7th place on the list, overtaking Mercedes-Benz, BMW and Volkswagen, and taking 5% of the market share. But Gordon says Tesla is losing market share. Yes, in the pure BEV market, as more players comes to the market, this is just math and has nothing to do with how Tesla is doing. Tesla is constantly taking more market share of the overall car market, and that is what matters. And Tesla is doing this with only 2 models in Australia. No, that should be impossible with only 2 models. We need more models. But the story continues on the other side of the sea in New Zealand. Tesla Model 3 became the 3rd best-selling car in New Zealand in August, only slightly behind its polluting rivals. The car was only behind 2 pickup trucks. Obviously, the Model 3 therefore was the best-selling mid-size car. But even more impressive is that the Model Y, which only started deliveries a few weeks ago, earned 4th place. So Tesla in August in New Zealand had both their 2 models in the top 5 of best-selling cars. Yes, electric cars are getting more and more popular in New Zealand, but Tesla is once again in a league of their own with 52% of all EV registered in August. In addition, a little déjà vu from Australia, because selling only 2 models in New Zealand, Tesla became the 4th best-selling car brand in the country with 9% market share. But we are not done yet. The story continues as Tesla Model 3 became the 2nd best-selling car in Taiwan in August, hitting a new monthly high in the country. Selling of only 1 model, and I repeat, 1 model in Taiwan's market brought Tesla's to 6th place of the overall ranking of most successful brand in the country. Strong sales of the Model 3 not only earned it the title of the 2nd best-selling car in the country, but also sealed a new records of its own. At 1,774 registrations, Tesla broke the previous record of 1,655 units registered in May. As of the end of August, Model 3 already have sold 6,327 vehicles for the entire year. This means that in 2022, Tesla has already surpassed its own sales for all of 2021. Local experts expect several thousand more vehicles to be delivered by the end of this year, bringing the total between 8,000 to 10,000 units. Obviously, the Tesla Model 3 was the best-selling electric car. No competition here either. Judging by the sales data, the Taiwanese are really interested in buying only the Tesla electric cars. The Tesla Model 3 closest competitor, the BMW iX, has only sold a modest of 69 units. The competition is coming. The gap is huge and only highlights the fact that the other OEMs need to scale up their effort to produce EVs. Not bring more models, but just bring more units. And in Europe, we see the Model 3 is also back at the number 2 spot as a 2nd best-selling EV, as it surpassed the little Fiat 500e that had been sitting on the 2nd place for the last couple of months. And the Model Y still is sitting comfortably at the number 1 spot, as we need to add something like 17,000 units to its numbers from the UK sales that does not list what models are being sold. So combined, Tesla is also the best-selling EV brand in Europe. Tesla even sells about twice the amount of EVs that Audi does. But Audi has 7 models. So how is that possible when more models means more sales?
And as I talked about before, when Herbert Diess is leaving Volkswagen, that could really mean trouble for Volkswagen, because he was the one that was really pushing hard for EVs. And we're seeing exactly that happening right now.
Volkswagen's new CEO, Oliver Blume, endorsed his predecessor's ambitious electric vehicle strategy on his first day in the job, but said traditional combustion engines could also play a role in the company's effort to reduce its vehicle greenhouse gas emission. Mr. Blume said that while he backed Volkswagen's EV push and might even accelerate it, Volkswagen would likely also produce vehicles with low-carbon combustion engines for many years to come. As he said, synthetic fuels have an advantage that they can be transported like conventional fuels. Yes, so countries can stay reliant on fuel from a few big boys around the world and not really be an independent country. And just transporting it around the world is a very stupid thing in the first place if you want your country to be truly free. We need all the energy supply to come from that country. I know it will take a long time, but it will take even longer if we continue to waste time and money on the falling technologies. Mr. Blume, who's also the chief of Volkswagen's sport brand Porsche, and his development team there have long embraced the so-called electrofuel, a synthetic low-carbon fuel. Yeah, not zero emission, but just low-carbon emission. That can be used in today's vehicles as a way to keep internal combustion engines in the market longer while reducing their carbon footprint. Mr. Bloomer's support for increasing the role of e-fuel within Volkswagen. And as Ferdinand Duvenhofer, the director of Car Center for Automotive Research in Duisburg, said, Mr. Bloom's support for increasing the role of e-fuel within Volkswagen's overall strategy could result in shifting some resources away from electric vehicles to conventional vehicles. As a result, Volkswagen's investment in battery electric vehicle could suffer. Yes, exactly. Everyone has been screaming about how Volkswagen could catch up with Tesla, and they have been out holding countless of meetings on how to catch up with Tesla under the leadership of Herbert. But now the race is all but over. No, Volkswagen didn't grow as fast as Tesla, so they are not catching up. They are not even keeping up. As we have seen so far in Q1, Tesla grew with about 125,000 units, from 185,000 units to 310,000 units, and the entire Volkswagen group sold 99,000 units. So Tesla grew with about 26,000 units more than what Volkswagen was able to produce. And in Q2, Tesla grew from about 201,000 to 254,000, so about 25% increase year over year, while Volkswagen sold 118,000 units, an increase of 6.3%. So in the first half of 2022, Tesla grew with 3 times as many units as the entire Volkswagen group was able to do. That is not catching up, that is not even keeping up, that is being left in the dust. So as we can see, the number clearly shows us Volkswagen is not keeping up with Tesla, not even close, and now Bloom wants to focus more resources and money on a dying technology. Just as Ford said they will invest in the internal combustion engines. I mean, talk about paradigm paralysis. The numbers cannot really be any clearer. Even Volkswagen, that is not keeping up with Tesla in growth, but at least their BEV business grew about 27% during the first half of the year, as they sold about 217,000 BEVs. But during the first half of the year, the overall volume of cars sold within the Volkswagen Group decreased by 22.2% year over year to 3.875 million. So Volkswagen has lost somewhere about 1 million cars so far this year compared to 2021. So they went from 171,000 BEVs in the first half of last year to 217,000 in the first half of this year. So they increased their units sold by 46,000, but lost 1 million vehicles in sales combined. I don't think the numbers get any clearer than this. Even though they're not up by much, their BEVs are at least up, but their ICE sales are dropping off a cliff faster than a speeding bullet. As I made a whole video about this week, this is exactly why no one of the other car companies that are still producing ICE cars can grow in size as an automaker, because the increase in BEVs is nowhere near the collapse of their ICE business. And we don't get a much better example than this. Volkswagen's BEVs are up 46,000 and the ICE car sales are down 950,000. And Bloom might, and I repeat, might accelerate their BEV strategy, even though it sounds more like he will relocate sources to other things instead. Yes, Herbert is gone, no longer trying to steer the ship in the right direction, so now Volkswagen is sailing straight for the iceberg, intentionally. Yeah, this is not going to end well.
And Monroe and Associates' minds was once again blown because of Tesla's pace of innovation.
And Monroe and Associate is getting through the teardown of the Model Y from Texas, and we see a great example of the pace of innovation. We are still missing to see anyone copy Tesla's gigacasting. Volvo have said they will, but have not yet started producing them. But if they just copy Tesla's gigacasting that they found in the Model Y that came out over 2 years ago, they will still be behind Tesla, as they have made many innovations to the casting piece in the last 2 years. It is a completely different part today. Just listen to this.
So this is much improved from the rear gigacasting that we had in our early 2020 Model Y, because it did not include the rear crush cans or that crosscar piece right there. Ours was also split down the center, and it had a cover. So a huge amount of integration here that's improved quite a lot in the past 2 years.
So a huge amount of integration. And we already know it's about 4 kilos lighter than the original casting. So sure, the others might be able to copy Tesla's casting, but Tesla will be far ahead of that when they finally get to copy Tesla's casting. If you copy, you will never lead. And of course, if you're making 30 different models, you are not getting the high volume of production of one single model as Tesla does. The Model Y this year will probably sell more than 700,000 units. They will not be able to copy this because it's not cheap to make all the work that Tesla has done, but because they really get the economy of scale with the Model Y and the Model 3, it is financially feasible to do this. So you will get a better built car on a less footprint in the factory, and it is much faster to produce, but you need some big brains to pull this off and a few models in high volume before it makes sense. This is also why you don't see Tesla producing the Model S or X with gigacasting, because it does not make sense financially because the volume of the car is too low. And if you compare Tesla's pace of innovation with Volkswagen, as the ID.3 has been produced for more than a year longer than the Model Y, but that car is 100% the same car that came off the assembly line almost 3 years ago, as it is today. And the Model Y is a completely different car underneath. Even the big innovation Tesla did, like the gigacasting, is completely changed in just 2.5 years. So the technology in the Teslas are completely new and up to date, where what you find in the ID.3 is already 3 years old from when they started production. But that means what is in the technology in the ID.3 is probably at least 5 years older than that, because that is when they came up with it, because they have a production cycle of 5 to 10 years. So if we are being generous, the technology in the ID.3 is probably at least 8 years old. Tesla technology is from yesterday, or thereabout. But you get the point. No one will ever catch up with Tesla's technology, no matter what we are talking about, as no one has the pace of innovation. As Elon has said, that is the only thing that matters. And let's squeeze in the last short news topics into this new show.
Yes, it's time for the Tesla Shorts.
Ford released their production numbers for August and for the first 8 months of the year for the US market. And we can see that even though Ford tripled their target for the coming years last year, they are not really ramping up fast, even though they need to get to their target of 2 million in 2026. In the first 8 months, they grew their Mark E production with about 8,500 units, so from 17,300 to 25,800 units. And they have produced about 6,842 F-150 Lightning year to date and about 2,300 units in August, so still struggling a bit to ramp up production of the F-150 Lightning to really high volumes. And a good showcase of, yes, they can produce about 1 million ICE F-150s, but that is not the same as producing an EV version of it. And if you didn't see my video about busting the myth about EVs on a road trip, you should definitely check it out, especially if you saw Donald Trump talk about how EVs does not work on a long road trip, as his friend has told him. So yeah, Trump has not experienced it himself. So if you want to learn from someone that has actually tried it himself multiple times, well, check out my video from this week. I will leave a link to that in the description down below. And time spent at Tesla superchargers could be cut by as much as 60% with new charging curve technology. According to New Scientist, research conducted at the Idaho National Laboratory can charge EV batteries from 0% state of charge to 90% in 10 minutes. That would be awesome. Researchers state that one of the benefits of their technology is that it could be feasibly to apply via over-the-air update, requiring no physical change to the battery or battery management system, as this is only a software change. It sounds almost too good to be true, but let's keep an eye on these guys and see what they come up with. And Lucid is losing many high-level manufacturing executives in only a few weeks. That is, of course, not a very good sign, as Lucid is struggling to ramp up production and it's losing billions of dollars. And Europe NCAP gave Tesla Model Y a 5 stars, and Europe NCAP's rating demonstrates that Tesla's high level of ambitions in safety and is the result of the latest improvement to the Model Y, such as rear parts of the chassis being castings, internal side airbags and multi-collision braking, and the drive monitor system's collision avoidance. In addition to the 5-star rating, the Model Y also achieved some notable results. Model Y achieved the highest score of all vehicles tested under Europe NCAP, so the safest car you can get in Europe. Model Y received a rating of 98% in Europe NCAP's Safety Assistant category, which evaluates cars' active safety features, including the ability to avoid accidents, mitigate physical damage, and prevent drivers unintentional leaving the lane. Performed by the Model Y equipped with Tesla's Vision, Tesla's driver assist system based on cameras and neural networks. What do you know, Dan O'Dow? The safest car ever tested, and because of Tesla's autopilot with only Vision, not despite it. And Model Y also achieved a rating of 97% in the adult occupant protection category. Again, the highest rating of any vehicle tested under this protocol. Don't think we can make it much clearer. Tesla is the safest car around, hands down. And Elon also replied to the tweet about Australians NCAP getting 5-star rating. We have since improved it further. Yes, the safety testing agency cannot keep up with the pace of improvements of Tesla's safety. Want your family to be safe? Buy a Tesla. And Troy Teslac has heard from Tesla China that the China team is expected to deliver more than 100,000 cars this month in September. This will be a new record. The highest month last year was 71,000 in December. The highest month so far this year was 78,000 in June. This is of course not their production, but only their deliveries, so it will be very interesting to see what their production numbers will be in September. But according to Ray for Tesla, Tesla should be able to put off that kind of production as well. If that is the case, that will be amazing. And we have more news fueling the rumors of Tesla's next Gigafactory being in Canada. Tesla just listed a new job on their career page, recruiter in Quebec. And as Tesla writes, Tesla is looking for a high volume and extraordinary recruiter. Still makes good sense to put the next Gigafactory close to all the materials they need for the batteries and on the east coast of America, so this still makes sense, but we have to wait and see where all of this leads. And we see more ships getting Starlink, and apparently Starlink Maritime has been deployed on the world's most Instagrammed super yacht. Nice. And SpaceX made another launch this week with Starlink satellite and a rideshare satellite as well, but the most important thing was this was the 140th landing from SpaceX. Just amazing. And just look at this little video about the landing of the booster from a bit away. It still just looks completely insane. And Elon was asked if customers soon will be able to buy the Powerwall without solar, and Elon replied, "For now, supply is too low, but ordering a Powerwall by itself should be possible by the end of the year." Nice. Hope it will soon come to Denmark as well. Tesla is preparing to launch its electric vehicles in Thailand for the first time with significant hiring spree. It has been a little while since Tesla has expanded into a brand new market, so this will be very interesting to see if the people of Thailand will take Tesla to heart as we have seen everywhere else. And BMW is copying Tesla's way of switching to cylindrical battery cells by 2025. One of the suppliers, RCATL, that said in a separate statement on Friday that it would have 2 of its plants supplying BMW with batteries that has the same diameter as Tesla's 4680 cells. Well, what do you know? Tesla's 4680s seems to have become the new standard. But of course it will take a long time for the old boys to make this kind of switch, so we won't see it before 2025. And Tesla China has put up 9,000 charger stalls in China now. Nice. And Tesla is evaluating the feasibility of lithium hydroxide refined facility on the Gulf Coast of Texas. Tesla said the plan would be focused on the development of battery-grade lithium hydroxide and be the first of its kind in North America, according to the newly released letter to the Texas Comptroller's Office. The company would process raw ore material into usable state for battery production, then ship the lithium hydroxide to various Tesla's battery manufacturing factories. That could probably both be Tesla's own 4680 cell, but Tesla could also be selling some of this to Panasonic if they are getting short on lithium hydroxide for their batteries. As I just talked about with John Lee in my interview this week, if you haven't checked that one out, I will leave a link down below. And the Tesla Fremont factory reached a production capacity of 12,000 vehicles per week and plans to produce 14,000 vehicles per week in the future, according to the newly appointed executive. 14,000 per week would be more than 700,000 a year. Nice. And the new King of England is, of course, driving a Tesla. Yep, Tesla's is good enough for royalty. And Tesla is on a hiring spree for their new Megapack factories as well. That is speeding up. Tesla is targeting to produce 442 Megapacks during the third quarter of 2022, representing an 85% growth of the Megapack production in the previous 3-month period. Along with the 42 Megapacks per week, Tesla is also producing approximately 6,500 Powerwalls a week. This is quite the production, but not anywhere near enough to keep up with the demand. But this business is growing fast. And before we end off with a bit of fun, I just want to make a quick shout out to my new patrons and members of this YouTube channel. My new patrons: Daniel D, Pavel Sibrita, Robert Bergman, Alfredo G. And I thank you for watching, members. Such Developments and Metal Tiger 2. And my Be Nice and You Are members: Christy 89CV, Robert Sweeney.
Thank you so much for all your support. I am doing this all by myself, but you guys are all the producers of this new show. Thank you. And a big and special thanks to Supporter of the Week, and this week's winner is Sedamine. Sedamine has been a Best in Tesla superhero of mine for over 19 months. Thank you so much for all your support. Much appreciated. Please contact me on this email down below so I can get your address so I can send you your free t-shirt or mug of your choice. Thank you. And let's end off with a bit of fun. A little video showcasing what would happen if legacy automakers should try out the pace and power of Tesla's innovation. That is all we have time for in this new show. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button. It really does help this video out a lot so others can find it on YouTube. And if you did like it, maybe you want to consider hitting that subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos just like this one.
If you are already a subscriber, thank you so much for your support, and if you want to support the channel even more, remember you can, for as little as $1, become a patron of this channel and get your shout out on this show. You can also become a member of the YouTube channel to get a shout out and some extra perks. Hit the members button to find out more. And don't forget to follow me on Twitter. I tweet all the news as it comes out and more. And check out the merch store to get some merchandise and support the show. Now it's also possible to support the show without buying anything, becoming a member or a patron. There is a link to a donation options in the show notes. And also as simple as hitting the super like button. But going forward, I will be making more videos for patrons and members only. And I will give my YouTube members and patrons early access to my videos whenever possible and make my videos ads free for members and patrons only. So don't miss out.
And thank you for watching. And until next time, take care out there and be nice.